Welcome back to News in Focus. My name is Faraz Patel. Again, we'd like to thank you, the viewer of Hilaal TV, for staying with us here. And you saw in the previous segments, I had interviews with representatives of Gift of the Givers and SAFA, Mr. Bennett Bailey, and of course Ali Sable, with regards to a check that Gift of the Givers gained in aid of Palestine. And we saw many of the youth within a Palestinian football team being murdered by the Israeli occupation forces. And this is not the first time Palestinian footballers, or athletes for that matter, have been murdered since the start of the genocide in October the 7th, 2023. Well, last week, of course, we saw the attack by Israel on Doha, on the Hamas negotiating team. And this, of course, sparked an Arab Islamic summit to occur. But has there been anything tangible that's going to come with it? Is there anything from a militarily aspect that's going to come from it? And of course, as the ongoing genocide that occurs in the occupied West Bank in Gaza continues, forced displacements has become the order of the day. Joining me now to discuss this, and we're going to touch with this Arab Islamic summit, I'd like to welcome, he's no stranger to us here at Hilaal TV, Aziz Younis. Aziz, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good to have you here. Actually, you should be, it's a welcome from your side because I'm in your area.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Shukran so much for having me.
No, it's an absolute pleasure. Aziz, this summit that has occurred, I'm struggling to find something tangible that has come out from it because there's not much. Just condemnations that we are hearing right now. That's about it.
You and I together, but the same thing.
Yeah.
I think everyone, even people on the ground who have been like following the scene. So far, nothing happened. There's like strong condemnation that came out of that summit. There's a lot of strong words as they described it. What's going to happen on the ground? A lot of people, thought it's going to be very difficult to withdraw like ambassadors or to prepare the armies, but at least like threaten. Some of the Gulf countries, they have the biggest and the largest oil and gas in the world reserve. Nothing happened. We thought they're gonna start like talking about, we're gonna withdraw ambassadors, we're gonna suspend certain like trades between Israel, even in the matter actually, even in the US. The US has the largest American military base in the region, in Qatar,
That's Al Udeid,
and the main reason was protection, and like it didn't get that effect that the Qataris and the Gulf people wanted it from, which gives a green light, according to a lot of people who have been following, a green light for Israel to do whatever they want in the region. If you have the largest American base and it couldn't help while you mediating, what can help? And Israelis like openly in like on their TVs, network, the ministers, the prime minister himself, Netanyahu, has been openly speaking about attacking Hamas leaders all over the world, wherever country they are in. It doesn't matter if they are the negotiating team or not. And they've been talking about expanding the borders of Israel, Syria, Jordan, talking about Egypt as well. And we didn't see yet anything comes out of the summit.
And here's the thing, Aziz. I mean, if you attack a sovereign nation, and I had a chat, and I know I sent you a message also in terms of, can Qatar retaliate? And I had this conversation with a former SANDF general, and he says, when you look at Article 51 of the United Nations Charter, any country that's provoked has the right to attack if you're a sovereign nation. Of course, I didn't expect Qatar to attack. A similar conversation I had with Naeem Jinnah last week, where he said, very highly unlikely for it to attack. But audacity and Israel, this isn't the first time, because even prior to that, they killed the entire leadership of the Yemeni government. And they've done so brazenly, saying, well, this is us in the name of the war, or the quote-unquote war against terror groups. And this audacity is quite clear, isn't it, from Israel?
Yeah, I think it's more than clear. I mean, I think in the same week, or the 2 weeks, they attacked Syria, Yemen, Qatar, Iran, and
Lebanon also.
Lebanon as well.
Yeah, they've continued in Lebanon.
And they threatening one of the ministers threatened to attack Turkey as well.
Yes, yeah.
Said like, get in line or something like that. There was talks about certain African countries if they have any members of the resistance. So it's like the whole world is ours, in our pocket. We can do whatever we want. No one can stop us. And at the same time, we're still doing one of the most horrific genocidal acts on the ground in Gaza. It's over 712 days now. Actually, the last couple of days, it was horrific. Bombing non-stop.
Yes. Displacements on such a high level, yeah.
And the goal is clear. No one can stop us, not even the Americans. Actually, the Americans are the one who supporting this narrative. And we can do whatever we want. And with all your armies, with all your American bases in that you guys pay for it and support it for billions of dollars, nothing can get in between us and what we want.
And that's the thing. Just a few months ago, obviously the Emir of Qatar had given a huge 747 jet, and one would have thought that would have been the security guarantee. And we've been having these chats amongst various platforms. A lot of individuals have been saying, well, there's no real security guarantee, because if Israel could do what they did in a sovereign land in Qatar, that means they can do it anywhere else. So this investment, where Trump, of course, went across the Middle East, does not guarantee that Israel is not going to strike on these lands. Because you've heard Benjamin Netanyahu, he said straight, anyone that has any leadership of Hamas will be targeted, whether you're sovereign or not. And the danger is quite clear and present for everyone.
So it doesn't matter if you have leaders of Hamas or not. The matter of fact, Israel is a cancerous body in the region. If it doesn't, or if no one stops it, it's going to expand.
Yes.
And this is not like a conspiracy
No, it's
theory.
clear for everyone.
This is what they're saying on public TV. Sadly, all the billions that the Gulf countries and other countries gave, the gifts, the planes, obviously it didn't do its favors. And the Americans, they have one goal as well. Sometimes you feel that the Americans, they have this proxy in the Middle East, or what's called the Middle East, which is Israel. But actually, the matter of fact, Israel has a proxy in one of the countries called the USA.
Yes.
This is how it is in reality. Like, they are the ones who are doing favors for the US. US works for them.
Yeah.
I mean, we were speaking before air now. The foreign minister was in Jerusalem yesterday.
Marco Rubio,
and he went.
I wanted to get your take on that, Aziz, because he went, of course, to the Wailing Wall, and there's this quote from Netanyahu, and I find it, but it's not surprising, because Netanyahu is not just arrogant, but he's brazenly open about what he wants to do in terms of the expansion of Israel. And he says, well, everything that is made in technology is coming from Israel. And it's quite clear, he's telling everyone, well, we own you in terms of the technological world. And I'm just seeing Marco Rubio there nodding, very similar to what we saw when Netanyahu went to Congress.
So Netanyahu is the strongest leader that Israel has ever had so far. The time for Netanyahu, he's like on his peak now. That's why he can say whatever he wants. He can do whatever he wants, because he knows the minute the war stops, that's why he doesn't want to stop the war.
Yeah.
The minute that the war stops, by Israel's law, he's going to jail.
Yes.
There's a massive issue and conflict inside Israel at the moment. And the Americans work for him.
Yes.
This is how he acts. It's not like Aziz's words.
Yeah, exactly.
And he took the foreign minister all over. He's the one who guiding him to their own policy. And the international law, the UN, the Amnesty, or whatever bodies that condemn or issue statements or say this is a genocide, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
at least on Netanyahu's eyes.
Yeah. Well, after the break, we're going to wrap up this conversation, and we're going to be discussing, of course, this ongoing genocide that is occurring in Gaza and the occupied West Bank, where Aziz is from Jenin. There continues to be settlers, violent right-wing settlers who continue attacks in these villages. We'll have that conversation after the break. Do stay tuned. We're still here on News in Focus. I'm in conversation with Aziz Younis, Palestinian journalist. Aziz, I want to touch on what we're seeing right now in Gaza, because I think it's important for everyone's eyes to still be on Gaza. This displacement, it of course has every hallmark of the Nakba. So if you weren't alive, both you and I, of course, weren't alive to see the Nakba, we are seeing it right now. And it's not coming from television sets, it's from the cell phones of many of the journalists, many of the eyewitnesses that are on the ground. Aziz, for those who probably do not understand Gaza, for a family to move from Gaza City into probably the north and the south, it's not an easy task. There's no aircraft, there's no cars or fast moving cars. A lot of it is happening on donkey carts and of course on buses, which are very, very slow. Talk to us about just how difficult this journey is and the way Israel is making it so difficult for families to even move to these so-called safe zones, which are actually not safe zones.
So following the news from our colleagues, the journalists
Yes.
there, and my cousins and my uncles there as well, they do have cars, but the issue is not just like the few cars that they have. The issue is way broader than that.
Yeah.
Israel has literally destroyed the whole infrastructure in Gaza.
Yes.
The roads, the buildings. They're moving them from the north to the south, from the south to the north. Okay, here's the small space that is safe. They go there, they bomb them. Move back, they bomb them. There's over 500 people so far died from starvation.
Yes.
So people are hungry, people are tired. Over 712 days of this horrific, massive genocide, and they up and down, and we send pamphlets from airplanes here to say you have to move here. We move here, we get bombed. Okay, go to schools. We move to schools, we get bombed. Hospitals are the safest. We go to the hospitals. We saw live on TV.
Yes.
Most of the hospitals are non-functioning now in Gaza. So the reality on the ground doesn't matter if whatever you have, a car or a donkey, or the situation is the human being in Gaza are being targeted deliberately on a daily basis. Today alone, so far until now, over 60 people got killed in Gaza alone. Let alone the situation in West Bank.
Yes.
Which gets us to the first point. It wasn't about the 7th of October.
No, of course, yeah.
The situation was horrific, settler-wise, expansion, settlements in the West Bank, and it was an excuse. Oh, here we go. We got what we want. Now we expand 10 times, if not like 50 times more.
Yeah.
We do whatever we want. The PA, the Palestinian Authority, has no existence. It's a hollow body that kind of they say that it represents Palestinian, which it doesn't,
And here's the thing, Aziz. I remember we had a discussion way before October the 7th when there were attacks occurring in Jenin. I think it was, if I stand to be corrected, July and August. And this kind of like laid the groundwork for this continuous settlement expansion that is going. That E1 settlement expansion is probably the more deadlier out of what we have seen prior to this, because what it does say is that it's approved by the Knesset, driven by Ben Gvir and Smotrich, and it's saying we will take the land and you will do absolutely nothing about it. And it's not just in Jenin or Nablus or any of these areas where there are villages. This is also stretching into Ramallah.
Yes, that's correct. Remember when Oslo Agreement happened, they divided the West Bank to 3 areas, A, B, C. A is like 100% controlled by Israel. B is like a common thing. and C by the PA.
Yes.
Now Israel, I mean, it was before the 7th of October, but not like as it is now.
A rapid rise we're seeing now.
Now it's we have 100% control. We can go whenever we want, however we want. We destroy, we kill, we do operations. I mean, actually, they had an operation jointly with the PA as well.
Yeah.
So recently there was a leak that the PA, between two PA leaders, that the PA is finished because there's no salaries, they have no authority as well, except for the security department. That the salaries, according to the leak, the salaries comes from the US to the security department in the PA, Mahmoud Abbas and certain people with him. But the PA itself has no existing now as an effective kind of body on the ground. The occupation does whatever they want, arrest whatever they want, they expand. In Jenin, when we spoke, my cousin from Abu Bakr's family, 14 years old, got killed in Jenin, not in Jenin refugee camp, which is like, you know, there's a resistance and all of that. So the situation never stopped, but now it's like more bluntly, like we can do whatever we want, and you cannot stop us. It was never about the 7th of October.
Of course.
It was never about just the resistance or Hamas in Gaza. The goal is to take over everything, and this is what they're doing now.
Aziz, and that comes to the next point of discussion, this UN General Assembly that was held last week. Unanimous vote in terms of a two-state solution, but let's be honest, how can you have a two-state solution when, quite frankly, there's more land being taken by Israel, and you're leaving Palestinian citizens with practically Bantustans, which are still going to be, I mean, there are still Bantustans within Palestine right now, but it kind of makes something like this quite futile. I would like to think that the leaders of the world are not maybe understanding the higher complexities or the actual reality on the ground in terms of how these settler expansions are happening, which kind of means you can't have a two-state when more and more settlements are being taken by the Israelis.
100%, Raz. Whoever reads the scene clearly, you can speak to a lot of experts as well, South Africans and internationally. They're saying whoever speaks about two-state solution is delusional or dull. There's no two-state solution. It was killed long ago, so after the genocide and the expansion in the West Bank. And clearly, I mean, we as Palestinians are the only one who are allowed to discuss the two-state solutions. Even though we didn't want two-state solution, no one asked us our opinion, and the world took the liberty to say it's two-state solution, we're gonna work towards it. The Israelis will never, ever agree, and this is not according to Aziz, according to the minister, agree on the two-state solution or even one-state solution as well.
Aziz, Netanyahu last week, sorry, I'm cutting you there, Netanyahu in a conference in East Jerusalem where there are extremely right-wing Israelis, he said straight, I don't believe in a two-state solution, we'll take the land. If he's saying it, how can the leaders of the world be so blind?
So the occupier, the one who has the forces on the ground, is saying we don't accept this. However, the whole world, the PA included, saying no, we want two-state solution. We want to live together. But they are the one who have the authority and the power on the ground, and they don't want that. So how come that you force it down the Palestinians' throat that no, it's two-state solution? Which leads to all over the country, not like including South Africa. I mean, I know it's still the official kind of position that
for government.
Which and this has to be like a changing point from now. The Palestinians on the ground, they don't believe in that. Neither the Israelis, who are killing the Palestinians on a daily basis. So you have to be delusional, or you are working with the Israelis on another project. It's either one of this. There's no two-state solution. And you cannot force the Palestinians to accept something that their opponent or their enemy, the occupier, the aggression regime from the Israelis are not accepting as well.
And for me, I think a lot of the leadership find it politically convenient to use two-state solutions. I interviewed Turco last week, Chris Piri, who's the spokesperson, and I still feel that South African government is still hanging on to this two-state solution ideology, and they keep on saying it all the time. And my question to him was, when you have these settlements that are happening, Benjamin Netanyahu clearly does not want a two-state solution to happen. But I think it's very difficult for governments to maybe say we can't see a two-state solution because Israel continues to take the land. Do you believe leaders of the world need to stop making this diplomatically convenient ideology? Because unfortunately, it seems to be the way to go, because it's not upsetting either or.
So the harsh answer to this, which can be a little bit problematic for me as a journalist, that if you believe in two-state solution, it means you believe that the only one power, the Palestinian power on the ground, which has no power, which is the PA. You need to go to the ground, see who has the power now, who leads the people, who the Palestinian people wants and support, and see what they want. For the South African, I think we did a couple of interviews and we spoke about them behind the camera and on record. And it says, like, you cannot take one Palestinian faction and say, this is what they want and this is what we're going to follow. And that goes for the rest of the world. There's a lot of shift when it comes to Palestine now in the Palestinians' mind. There's a lot of talks about who runs the scene on the ground now. And you need to be able to see it to change this narrative.
Exactly. Aziz, always good to have you on. Inshallah, we hope to have you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Shukran for making the time for us, for having this conversation. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
That's Aziz Younis, Palestinian journalist, just breaking down, of course, the Arab Islamic summit that took place, and also the genocide that is happening in Gaza, and also within the occupied West Bank with the settlement expansion. That's all we have for you here on News in Focus from our Cape Town studio, from myself, Firas Patel, and the rest of the team in Johannesburg. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.